everyone. So another relevant topic today. So why IGA identity governance has been a complete failure. So to guide light to this topic, we have identity and cyber expert, also known as the chief troublemaker, identity Jedi, David Lee. Hi, David.
Hey, how you doing, Ashley? Good to see you again.
Good to see you too. Thank you for coming.
Yeah,
So first, David, tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
man. Okay, so I won't take up the entire time doing that. I've been in identity and access management now, going on 20 years, a lot longer than I like to recall. Hence, all the gray hair in my beard. And I started, from the government sector, doing identity and access management, then to consulting, and then SellPoint, Amazon, Cloudinity, Sexzetta. So I've kind of seen the full gamut, working with partners, doing implementations. And so it's been really fun. Like most people that get into identity, this wasn't something I planned. Like I thought I was going to be like the best, Java software engineer in the world. And then I ended up on a project implementing Sun Identity Manager. I was like, wait, what is this? And then 20 years later, I'm still doing it. So that's been my background in a nutshell. I love all the interesting problems that are in identity. I love the fact that it combines business and technical. So it's fun. Keep doing it until I find something else to do.
Awesome. So first, do you think IGA has been a failure for most enterprises?
Man, so that's the spicy one coming out the gate. I do. And here's the reason why. I think in the beginning, when IGA first became a thing, it absolutely was. It was desperately needed. And the reason is because before that, customers were doing this with spreadsheets. And so they were just sitting around Excel spreadsheets trying to collect all this information and figure out who has access to what and provide a proper audit trail. So when IGA first came out, it was a godsend, right? So here we go. We're automated. We're using computers the way they're supposed to. And now we have this automated process of doing this. The problem is where it's become a failure, I would say probably in the last 5 years, is we didn't change after that. We kept doing the same thing. And so now these organizations are getting these IGA products and tools, and it's taking them months and months to roll them out. And it's just become a automated spreadsheet where they just come in and they just do the checklist. So it's not actually providing that value that it needs to have now. The value that it had in the beginning was great. We needed a way to centralize all this and see it and administer it, great. And then we needed to move forward, and it just hasn't. So currently today, I would say it definitely is a failure for most organizations, as they're struggling to roll this out and they're not really getting a lot of value out of it.
So would you say some of the blame falls on the IGA vendors and or the services around IGA?
I would say yes, right? And hurts my heart because as a former vendor myself, right? We have to be honest and take a look at it, because we haven't really pushed in this industry from a vendor perspective. I think we're going to see that change now in the next kind of 2 years, 18 to 24 months. One, customers are demanding a little bit more, but the vendors kind of took the route of, hey, we're going to provide the service. It seems to be working. And like any corporation that gets in, like you get a foothold, you start to expand that foothold. And as you get bigger, innovation slows down. And that's what we've seen. We didn't see a whole lot of innovation in this area. And now, as the market shifts, things are starting to collide a little bit as all these organizations starting to come together. We're starting to see that innovation. And I think for the likes of me, I think it's a little too late. So, but it's coming. So I will say the vendors have some blame in that, and not pushing the products and not working with the customers to kind of understand where the features need to go. And the last thing I'll say on this is because I think vendors got into kind of this typical product management mode of, we're going to listen to what the customer's saying, we're going to deliver the customers the features want. And I think sometimes with identity, the problem is this is such a nuanced field, and a lot of our customers don't really understand all of it, is that we were just note takers instead of being what I like to call, instead of being the doctor of the room, which is, hey, customer, explain to me your pain. Okay, this is what's going on. Yeah, you really need this, right? We just got into the note-taking phase. Okay, you want this? You want this one? No problem. And I'll deliver you just that. And we did the customers a disservice and not really interpreting and digging into that and going, okay, you're saying you want this, but if I actually give you a better tool that does this, it's going to meet all of these problems and these other things that you're probably just not thinking about, because they're relying on us to be the identity experts. And that's really where I think we did them a disservice. And we just said, okay, you want this feature? Cool. You want to be able to do a delegate thing? Okay, I'll deliver you that. We weren't actually digging in and saying, like, what is the actual pain point and solving to that?
So if IGA is done right, it obviously could have value for the enterprise, right?
Yeah, it's huge value to the enterprise because especially now, right, as we look at what enterprises have to deal with when it comes to identity, right? Because we've so far moved past like identity is just, this carbon-based life form worker that comes or a contractor that comes. There's suppliers, there's vendors, there's machines, there's, all kind of things. Infrastructure spins up left and right, and all that has identity and access controls to it. So the massive amount of identity and access that you have to manage as an organization now, and how quickly it moves, you absolutely, there's value to understanding and being able to govern all of that and saying, okay, here's where I see everything that somebody has access to, and let me make sure that the access is being provisioned in the right way. So it absolutely has value, but it has to be done fast, right? It has to be done quicker. It has to move in today's in today's speed, right? Move at the speed of business is a corny line that I like to use, but that's the reality, right? Because business moves super fast now. And so we can't say, okay, well, we'll get our governance together in 9 to 10 months. In 9 to 10 months, like either the problem is going to be 2 times worse, or you might have pivoted and done something else. Like this is just how fast business moves. And so that's where we really have to be able to deliver that value, is to have a system in which customers can get that value early on.
So Garrett, how can UAttest help?
Yeah, first of all, let me just say it. There's a reason why David Lee is keynote over at Identiverse, and okay, he's got some amazing viewpoints and background in the space. So yeah, UAttest, and couldn't agree more. I would not have bet my future and taken investors' money if I didn't believe identity governance has problems. That's why we created UAttest, to look at the situation, to look at where it is and say, let's solve a quantifiable identity problem. And the identity problem we are solving is most organizations, big and small, but especially small, don't have any concept of who they've given rights to. I worked on a support desk. I got yelled at. Come on, give that guy access. Give him access. That's the reality. Okay, who's doing the yelling and the other side of the ear to say, let's clean up those accounts, okay? And that's what we built at UAttest. We built something that plugs in immediately in under 5 minutes into your current IAM systems, and then allows you to attest to all the roles. Either you can do one group or all groups, one application, all application, one user, all users. Quantify it and start quantifying the identity problem in a realistic way. That's what we do at UAttest.
Perfect. So David, how can people get a hold of you?
Carrier pigeons. They're much more reliable than ravens. I'm just kidding. Yeah, you can find me. You can find everything about me at theidentitygedi.com. That's my website, newsletter, blog, all that good stuff. And then if you want to email me, david@iamdavidlee.com. And I'm also on LinkedIn. So just search for the Identity Jedi. You'll find me, and there you go. Pretty easy to find.
Awesome. And then us at UAttest, you can contact us at info@uattest.com. We'll get you going on your identity audits to reduce your exposure to insider threats. Thank you so much, David, for coming. I really appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me.